Copper is not in my dictionary, copper is not in my plans in Neotel as well. And that's why we talk about fiber and we limit copper out of our discussions. Yes, there's wireless that comes into play, there's satellite that comes into play, but when you're talking true broadband, you're talking fiber to the home, fiber to the curb, fiber to the building. We moved into the information age now, and that's where internet has taken over, and that's why we need to get the fiber to the right places to keep everyone connected. How we've moving from the old TDM services to IP services. And in US and in Europe, in the last 3 years, we've moved the entire network from 28% to 74%. So they're slowly migrating everything over to a voice over internet protocol. So voice over IP. And that's how our network is being designed, that's how our network is being built. We also have to take into consideration the Neotel customers and where they're coming from. Obviously, they still come from an old TDM-based service. So our network is built around TDM and IP. So we actually got a dual network that we've created now to supply services to the customers. And in future, and once they're upgrading their equipment, we'll migrate them into the IP network. The role of broadband, prior to broadband, I think the biggest challenge was always your last mile. And with what we've been doing in the cities in the last 3 or 6 months and putting fiber to the buildings, we're trying to eliminate that bottleneck as well. We're trying to get fiber to every building into the metros as well. And broadband, I'm talking about broadband and the true meaning of broadband. You can't really get that from 3G or from the broadband market. This is the telecoms market prior to Neotel, 2 years ago. This was basically the South African telecoms market. There was a separate fixed voice, which obviously Telkom covered, and Telkom's got a brilliant network, good reach everywhere across the country, but it covered the fixed. They built a separate network for data as well, for its internet services. They built a separate network and they covered, the data was covered mainly by Telkom and your VANs, internet providers on that there, right? Your IS and M-Waves, etc. We're covering the data market. Then your MCOs or your mobiles, which is currently covered by, or was Vodacom, MTN, and Celsius. The blue yellow. We've taken that there and moved it into the convergent network. And that's where we say we are truly converged company, where we're taking voice, data, IP, and we build one network to supply services to all different customer bases as well. Whether it's voice, whether it's IP, we're not laying and building separate networks to give separate services to different customers. We're building one network, whether it's for consumer, whether it's for enterprise. Your converged communication network will cover your entire wholesale and international as well, enterprise customers and your consumer customers, right? Which is your SME side. I think 2006 was the launch of the wholesale services, international tier 1 network sites, right? We've, at that time, obviously secured with the Infraco deal the 8,000 kilometers of long-distance fiber, and that's where our backbone is currently working on. And we've obtained the 2 billion finance debt that we've ramped to build the network. 2007, we completed the switch on the national network, and we made our first call. We finalized our spectrum on the CDMA side, the 800 megahertz spectrum, which was done last year as well. And that was in addition to the 8 gigs, 8 megahertz, the frequencies we've got on the microwave 50. Last year finalized the acquisition of the Transtel telecoms leg of Transnet or TF. And that gave us access to 500 people or over 500 people that are in the different areas of South Africa. So maintenance, etc. for our network will fall under these people. Also, the acquisition gave us access to a bit more fiber that we had as well, that we've acquired in 2006 from Transtel. We continued last year from June to, we've done I think over 1,000 kilometers of fiber, but in 2007 itself we've limited that number to about 700 kilometers in the metros, Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, Pretoria, Durban and Cape Town. Okay. We've established the Neotel Telecoms Training Academy, so we've got a training academy going as part of our CSI investment as well. We've launched the National Lease Line Services, and I think this was our first and one of our biggest deal that we won, the SITA network and the SITA IP network, which we had to do by November last year. So this wasn't just in our focus areas. We've built this network in Polokwane, in Uppington, also in PE, East London, Bloemfontein. We've gained 40 blue chip customers, including Internet Solutions, TNet, which is tertiary education. Access to the Sat 3 and the SAFE was finalized, and we also were contracted to land the CCOM cable, which is going to be landing in East on hopefully next year sometime. For that there as well, we already got our 2 fibers with diversity already ready to pick up that bandwidth once it lands in Tanzania. Launched National Converged Voice and Data Enterprise Services. I think it was in November last year we've launched this. So this year we've launched South Africa's first Metro Ethernet services in April, and the first link was done here in Gauteng. We launched Consumer Voice and High Speed. We've launched CDMA. The consumer product is via CDMA, which is mobility, but we've done it on the fixed mobility side of it. Launched Enterprise Wireless Services. This year, I must just say, it is a soft launch we've done on network side for the WiMAX sites. The products are still not launched, but we've got the sites ready. Explain the elements of a public network. Your national network needs to be finalized, obviously, before you go into become a public sector. This we've done via the Transtel and the Infraco power lines, where we've got our biggest bandwidth. On that day, you would have seen we've got a 10 gig IP network. What we don't mention there, we also got a 10 gig TDM service that's already available, that's already lit up, to link all the metros. Your Access Metro is what we've built. We've acquired 1,301 kilometers, part of the Transtel FSN acquisition in 2006, October. And since then we've also built another 1,500 kilometers of metro. So the internet pairings with the different operators, IS, ISPs and Telkom, that was already done. Your network services side, we've launched these services in November last year with your Neo Voice, Neo Internet, Neo VPN, and your global link with the Tata and the access to bandwidth that we have because of Tata being our major shareholder. This international is covered in there, your long distance is covered in there, and your metros is covered in there. So that makes us a global player. Content application. Who's going to host the content for us, and in the voice interconnect we had to build the interconnects to the different operators to make sure that the customers can link up to all operators in and outside the country. So we built these links to Vodacom, all the service providers. And our access side, well, one of our access technologies on the CDMA, WiMAX is also regarded as an access side. This is what we've done and we've got access to via the Infraco side. I think we should be telling you guys that we are going to build a long distance, starting picks on the ground within the next 6 weeks, which will be approximately 5,000 kilometers in the next 2 years. That is only phase 1. So it's going to be a duplicate of this network, but it's going to be purely Neotel based network. Fiber network that we're building to link the different metros. The metro areas, we're saying 2,000 kilometers, Durban, Cape Town, we will be over 2,000 kilometers by end of this financial year. That excludes the work that we're going to be doing in PE on the reactive strategy with FETs, etc., CETAs. That kilometers are not even counted in. And the next 3 years as well, our budget purely based on fiber. Even if we go into the buildings, we're fibering the buildings up, we're not putting copper. So we don't have any plans for copper. There's always limitations, there's dB losses when it comes to giving services on copper. Maybe we don't see us using unbundling as well. Once unbundling is done with Telkom, if it is to our advantage, we may look at it. We're not saying we'll be totally out of it. But for now and for our future new build work, we're going purely fiber because of the different limitations on copper. And I think one of the biggest ones being theft. Fiber, you can't steal. No, sorry, you can steal it, but you can do nothing. But we will be putting fiber into every building, into selected areas. Fiber to the home, that's not in our plan this year. We may target gated communities. And obviously, after you finish the metros, you're going to roll out into the residential areas and as you go out of the city. So that's how you plan. You'll start your network rollout from the middle and you work up. Going up here, we go right up to Stanger, and that's where we're picking up the CCOM cable, which will be landing next year as well. We've already got the fibers. For the land side, we've already built 130 kilometers of fiber from Durban up to Mtunzini. In Mtunzini, we've got that link that I showed you now, the fiber already going there. That's been built already as well.